I have a couple different experiences. It was very similar to the gentleman that was talking about when he was younger, except I was about 5, and it seemed more like a dream. The only thing that's weird about it is that in my dream, my unborn siblings were in it. That was really trippy. We were driving down a dirt road, and my father was driving erratically. My mother kept, saying we were going to be okay. And then all of a sudden, he just slams on his brakes, and he says, "Everybody get out of the car, run, get down, don't try and be brave." And so we do this, and it's all so very real. I'm looking at my sister and my brother across the way, and like I said, they're not born yet. I was only 5. And my father starts yelling at this thing in the sky. And all of a sudden, everything was completely illuminated, and my father starts screaming in this ungodly sound. I don't even know how to describe it. It was very unnatural, and he was in excruciating pain. And then there was this bright light, and I see what it is, and I still don't know what it is that I'm looking at, but it was this really dark, almost iridescent-looking gray material. And it's lifting my father up, and it's making no noise, but there's just chaos all around this thing. And before they take him into this thing, I woke up. And it was just unlike anything I had ever experienced before. I still don't really know what to make of that. But most recently, it's really kind of creepy to talk about for me still, but I noticed that there was this crazy light in the sky, and I kept being drawn to it, and I started taking pictures with it with my cell phone, and as I was zooming in on the photo itself, it started to look like different types of symbols. Like one was a crucifix, the other one was a perfect symmetrical square, and it would warp into different symbols. And I've been documenting this for a while now, but the first night it happened, I started interrogating it, almost like antagonizing it, like my father was in that dream. And later that night, I came inside to go to bed, and I didn't even lay down yet, but it felt like it just happened. But my roommate said that I had laid down, and I started screaming, "Help me, God, help me, they're putting me in the tube. They're putting me in the tube." And what I remember is they came in. There was 4 or 5 of them. They were these really weird, awkward-shaped humanoid-looking things. And there was no words exchanged. It was all telekinesis.
Telepathic?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, definitely. It was like I knew what they were saying without them even really giving an expression. It was very bizarre. And they just said, "You're going to come with us." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to go with you." There was no argument. There was no fighting, but I did feel alarmed. Why can't I run, or why can't I do anything? It was just, I was kind of brain dead almost, but aware. It's very hard to explain. And they took me on this, it looked like a car almost, but not a car, small like a car. And when I got inside, it was very big and open, and there was a weird luminous type of light, but I wouldn't even call it a light. It was just an energy. And I remember when they were putting me in the tube, that's when I really started to get scared, because this tube was like an hexagon on the inside but round on the outside. And every side of this tube that I was forced to be in was like an observation type of screen. And I knew like each side there was a different person observing me. And pretty much that was the end of it, because that's when my roommate basically was able to awaken me. And I feel like I wasn't physically abducted. I feel like it was more an abduction of my consciousness, if that makes any sense.
A mind abduction comes to mind. You know, there's what's amazing tonight. We've had callers, and now we have, I think this is the third caller that is saying basically the exact same experience that a lot of people have had. And this is within 40 minutes. You know, this is not unusual. This is commonplace, people. People got to wake up that this isn't weird, wacko. This is normal people, regular people out there, professionals of all types, all classes. They all had these experiences. Right here, I think we got F1. He's been abducted. Welcome to the show, F1.
That's really cool, Blake. First of all, man, I'm so happy, but it's like subdued happy, because my God, it's finally, through you, and I'm not trying to blow your head up too much, but, you know, no, really, bro, because through the longevity of the show and the progression of the people that have gradually called in, that have, you know, they just really want to tell the story, and it's like it's through the amount of those gradually getting greater that people are calling in, because it's a more comfortable subject where they don't feel like they're going to be ridiculed, but they want to relate to these people to say, you know, wow, thank you, and let me help you too, because you said things that helped me release memories that were maybe subdued or not so well organized until they listened to other people, where they could relate and remember similar experiences that then triggered the ability for other three-lock box memories to come back. And it's like...
exactly. That's, you know, F1 nailed it right on the head. Memory recall through a voice or story recognition. F1, sorry to cut you off there, but let's hear what you just... I know you just said that something triggered your memory, so I want to hear what you just heard that triggered what memory. Give us some detail here.
Okay, there's been many, but I want to give a lot of credit. I'm so sorry, but it's Bill Vike, who now lives in Canada. He really took me under his wing and made me feel like I wouldn't be ridiculed. I could actually feel he had such a personality that made me feel comfortable, and that was kind of like this, because believe me, before you, Blake, I've been searching for this for years, and finally I just said, F it, man. I need to just ask these questions. And before my mom died, I asked her stuff like, well, one of the things that I heard was that people that sleepwalk, and I asked my mom, and she said yes, and she felt guilty because a lot of times when I was very young, people would bring me home, and I heard this from other people. What's really cool, though, it's almost like I feel like he listened to me and copied me, but that's just, I want to tell you, that's so weird that the young man that said about Casper, because if you remember, I told you the same thing about, that's funny, I felt like that was Casper taking me up, and you know what, Casper wasn't even on TV when I was a kid. So it's really weird, but things like that, you know, it's a bunch of different things from people that help me. It's such a slow process, especially when we didn't have shows like yourself, to because no one, you don't just go up and talk to people and say, hey, does this ever happen to you? And they're like, what a freaking lunatic that guy is.
No, we live in Hawaii. It's the Aloha state, right? And
yeah, but I lived there for many years.
Hey, F1, this is John McDonald.
Yeah,
and
I'm here, buddy.
Yeah, I was just wondering, it was cool that weren't you the one that were talking about Casper?
Absolutely. It looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost to me.
Yeah, bro. What's weird? Let me blow your mind, because I've already gone into this heavily.
I've heard you. That's why I'm calling in.
Yeah, what's really trippy, bro, is that, and then I've confirmed this through sightings too. It always seems to be two small extraterrestrials with one rather large one that's almost twice their size. And if you remember on Casper, his brothers were big, really big, and not too nice.
Yeah, they were the badasses.
Yeah, and
I felt like I was taken away by the badass fucking Casper brothers. That's what it felt like.
And that always scared the crap out of me.
Me too, and it's always stuck with me, man. And I'm telling you, it wasn't a dream. I forgot to mention this to Blake, but I actually got taken out. I don't remember how it happened, how I got out, but there was a bright light, and it was coming out really hard. It was weird. I just don't know. I floated. It was almost like they picked me up and floated me to the craft, and that's the only way I can explain it.
When I was a kid, brother. What's really weird, too, is this is like Blake's asking, what were the trigger objects that helped you remember? Well, for people talking, I always told my mom, we lived in Massachusetts, and when I was a kid, and I always would see, and I mean, it's so freaking cool to hear people confirm this a million different times through credible sources, and you know what credible is after you've spent so much time and you're able to weed out the real from the unreal. There was always an owl outside my window. Always.
An owl.
And it wasn't just sitting there. Now, wait a minute. What the frick is this owl doing looking in through the window?
I have seen too many owls just standing out, dude. Not through a window, but just personally. I mean, it's weird. And I didn't really correlate that until this whole thing. I mean, but honestly, I mean, I understand what you're saying, bro. I mean, you are amazing. I'm glad we can all share this.
F1's the man, and he's served our country as well, and he's passionate. He wants to know what's going on, and it's cool that there's two already collaborating. It's for people that have never met each other, and they're having the same stories from different upbringings. These aren't dreams. This is reality, in my opinion. We got a few more minutes. We're going to get as much callers as we possibly can. F1, we're going to get back to you. Everybody, we might have it a little extended because I want to get Jesse's details of some of these extraterrestrial creatures that he's seen, that aliens have brought aboard their ships from different planets. That's absolutely incredible to me. Let's get to a caller right now, 226. Thanks for waiting. You're live, Third Phase of Moon. 226, you there? Going once? Going twice? 226? Sorry, you got to go. Got to make room. Got to make room for callers. 703, you're live. Thanks for calling in.
Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Hello?
Hello, yeah,
hey.
Talking.
Oh.
How's it going?
Well, actually, it's, kind of, it's weird because I never associated the owl, but now that I hear so many people talking about it, it's so crazy because that was my trigger. I saw an owl, and it's weird that I can now connect the dots, you know what I'm saying?
Well, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, that's... yeah, we got John and F1. Go ahead. So you've seen the owl similarities as well?
Yeah, I mean...
What's your name, sir?
I saw...
First
honestly,
name,
it's all right if I prefer to be a little anonymous. Can I just go by John?
Yeah, no problem, John. Yeah. No problem.
But Can I share my story? Is that okay?
Yeah, let's hear it. Thanks. Call it in. Everybody wants to hear it. You're on live, Third Phase of Moon, John. Go ahead.
Oh, great. It was a few years back. I was having a family reunion with my brothers down in Georgia, and what I like to do, because it's a 3-day place at a little retreat we own, so what I like to do is late nights on the warm summer nights of Georgia, I like to go outside, grab a Coca-Cola and sit out and enjoy the night. It's crazy how beautiful it gets out there, and you can see all the stars. And so, I'm sitting out there with a Coke, and, I see these owls, and about 5 minutes later, bright light up in the sky. And I have anxiety, in which when I get really stressed, I like to start to get tunnel vision, and I black out. So bright light, I look up, I see one main light and 3 surrounding lights. And immediately that kicks in. I feel like, I get this weird tingling sensation, and then I black out. When I open my eyes, it's like a red lit room, and I just see 2 figures. And the red made it really hard to see, you know what I'm saying? But I see just 2 figures, and they look like they're in like a lot of, weird coverings. And it's like a bad dream, because I'm blacking out. I have like tunnel vision. Everything's hard to see. But sorry, I've never shared this. I'm kind of really nervous and emotional.
It's okay, Johnny. You're not the first time that people called into the show for the first time. And, share it to the public. And people sometimes never shared it with anybody. You're welcome here. And welcome to Third Phase, man. Go ahead.
Thanks. But I'm looking around, trying to make sense of what I'm getting. And at the time, I had no idea, because I was never a big believer at this point. And I just see 2 figures. I thought maybe somehow it's my brothers, and I try to scream, but I realize I can't. Like, I have little control over my body other than, kind of looking around. It's really hard. So, and I turn next to me, I see other tables, where people have been, not people, but things have been strapped down like I was. I'd been strapped down on a table. I only had my pants on. I was missing my shirt and the watch and the glasses I usually have. And I see one of the figures, messing with my watch. And at this point, I start to tunnel out again, because I have no idea what's going on. And I wake up in the morning. I just wake back up in the morning with my chair. My soda had fallen by my side. And I, covered in mosquito bites, because it's Georgia. And I would have associated it with a bad dream, if not for the fact that my glasses and my shirt and my watch, they were still off. They were still off by the ground, and, I saw these weird markings, like in prints. And I don't know, like, they looked, honestly, if I didn't know any better, they looked like footprints, but of something, like, really weird, like of an animal I'd never seen before. And I saw these by the ground, next to my clothes. And I've never even talked to my brothers about it. But I woke up at about, I guess it was about 7:30. I shook it off and went back inside and, drank some coffee and collected my nerves. I mean, and it's weird to talk about it. I'm sorry, I never shared this before, and it's crazy that other people are having these triggers, like the owls, and because when I was on that table, when I looked over, I saw
the
another
communion
table.
face.
Huh?
The communion face, what I saw in the book.
Yeah.
The owl face, the big almond eyes, yeah, I know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, because, that's like, I'm not crazy.
You're not.
But I think the most striking part of that was when I looked over, I saw something else strapped down. And at that moment, I felt not only scared for me, but I was able to immediately empathize with the thing that I saw strapped down over there. Because, in the red light, it was hard to see, but I'm telling you, man, I saw something, and I was scared for both of us.
Wow. Well, John, I would like to say thank you for sharing your story. That's amazing. Thanks for going out there and having the courage to speak out and let everybody know. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, all morning I've been thinking about playing.
Right now, you're talking with.
About it, but.
Let me just tell you, John. That was Jesse, and we got a couple Johns on, and a few callers that have been abducted. But Jesse has been on the show a few times, and he's thanking you for sharing your experience, man. Thank you, because we'll need to know.
Thank you for giving me an outlet, man. Because now, I mean, I finally found someone I know I can really, identify with, and someone who we can understand each other. Because for a long time I was scared. I thought I had lost my mind or something. But it's good to know that,
I know the feeling. Yeah. Well, from what I've been told, I know another friend of mine who got abducted who had the owl experience. And from what I understand, that's Anunnaki. And it's I don't know if you've seen the movie The Fourth Kind. Talks about a hypnotherapist who gets abducted too. That has a lot of references to the owl, and I know a lot of people who've talked about the owl being associated with a false memory, and it's not really an owl. Obviously, it's an alien. But yeah, for both of you, the guy who said he had a dream and didn't know if that sounded to me like it was definitely an experience.
Hey, Jesse, we got you on, and there's a few more callers. We've got a few minutes left. Tell me about this spider. What made you? Why do you say it looked like a spider?
Oh, well, there's a couple of different kinds. There was one of them. I mean, just looked kind of almost just like the movie Aliens. That little face thing that stuck on her face. It looked kind of like that. There was another one who. I don't even know what the silk was. It was almost like it was so strong of a silk web. It was almost like stronger than metal. I mean, it caught these weird looking toad things that were in the cage. That's what it ate. And it would catch those in this web, and the toad couldn't even get out of it. And there was a few big giant centipedes. There was a spider that had way more than 8 eyes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's aliens, there's other planets out there with all kinds of life forms, and a lot of them are pretty much similar to Earth life forms because this is how life develops. But they're just. So is there anything that, like, any kind of creature that we could touch an alien gray. You're describing the spiders and these weird centipedes. Is there any kind of, like, creature that's like a light being, any energy being, something that you've come across?
I know there. I know that's what they told me there is. I haven't seen it. They didn't have them in the cages there on the ship that they showed me anyway. One of the things that was weird is their engine was partly alive. And it was a light being type thing. It was like almost like so far sophisticated AI that it was alive, and it was part energy, and it could change the shape of the ship. So it was almost it had to be alive because it was the metal that it's almost like looked like mercury when they changed the shape of whatever they wanted because they had different shapes for different things. And
wow, that opens up possibilities in my mind and theories. We got unfortunately, third phase of the moon is just about wrapping up. We got only a few minutes left. I'm going to let everybody have some last words here, but I want to get one last caller in, and it's all I could take for tonight. And we're back next week, Friday, and it's going to be 11 p.m. if you're in New York, and if you're in Los Angeles, it's 8 p.m. We're going to keep it at that time for a while, and then we'll be back. But let's get to the last caller, and then we'll get everybody's last words. Join us next week, Friday, 770. Thanks for calling in last minute. What do you got to say? This is Blake Cousins. You're speaking to him. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello? Yep. We got a few minutes left.
Hey,
what do you got to say to third phase?
Yeah, I've got a question. One day, me and my wife saw kind of like I don't know if it's a spaceship or not, but best way to describe it was long and square, and it almost looked like it was in sections.
Where was this? What time of day or night? Was it at night?
No, it's midday. And I was talking to her about chemtrails and comtrails, and there were some planes that were flying really high. And so she was laying down by the pool, and she looks up, and she goes, well, what's that thing way up there? And so it took me a minute to focus in on it and see it. And once I saw it, I was like, I don't know, because there was no comtrail or chemtrail. It was just like sitting there. So, I kind of lined it up to the edge of my chimney, and we watched it, and it was like slowly moving. And I thought, how can that thing, sit up there so still, And I've searched the internet trying to figure out what this thing was, what it might be. To kind of give you the perspective, the planes that fly really high, it was as high as that, if not maybe a little higher. And if you were to take and put, 6 of those planes, in a row, that's how long it was. And I've always been real curious as to what in the world that might be, or maybe somebody else has seen it, or I don't know.
Wow, I'm glad I took this last caller. Unfortunately, this is a third phase of moon, and we're just about time. If anybody's seen a square craft, metallic, when was this seen? Today?
It looked like it was kind of tannish color.
When and where? When and where, sir?
Well, I'm in just east of Atlanta, and this was about 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. I've seen a lot of videos that have come in. I've never seen a square UFO, but they're. I'm sure they come in all shapes and sizes. If we get it and somebody films it, they're going to be seeing it. You know what? This is it. Third Phase of Moon Radio. We got a couple minutes left. John, real fast. Any last words?
Thank you very much, Blake. Thank you very much, Blake. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for everything you guys helped me with. I'm going to look into that. I might consider hypnotherapy, but man, thank you guys. I will call you next week.
Come back anytime, man. We're all Jesse. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Blake. Look forward to joining the game.
Third phase of moon.
Sorry about that, Jesse. I don't know what happened. Go ahead. Yep. Call back next week. We're going to collaborate, see if we could do some collaboration and get people to get a visual experience of what you experienced. Jesse, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Blake. Talk to you again.
Oh, right on.
Hey,
F1.
Blake, real quick.
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you so freaking much for one thing. I want these people that have called in, and you guys know who you are, that I think are the inner core right now that we've shared. Here, I want you to take my email. Can I give it over the air?
If you feel free, you can.
You got it. Okay, you guys, and Jesse, please take this down. John, please take this down, because you know what, man? FTW for the frickin' government and everything else that's trying to suppress us. This is my email, and everyone else, you feel free. I don't care what you do, man. You know what? It's going to be revealed so quickly. The time is so short. Everyone get ready. Here it is. MMCKENNA904@gmail.com. Keep this network going. It's mmckenna904@gmail.com, and that's how bitchin' I feel. I never do anything like this. I want you guys, I want a chat line to keep open, because this show should be 6 hours long.
I wish it could be. F1, appreciate the call in, and they're going to be hearing it on Third Phase Moon YouTube. And if you want to reach out to F1, you got the email, and I trust F1 will reach out to us if he comes across in collaboration, because what went down tonight was pretty awesome. You have multiple callers that have been abducted, and a UFO sighting reported on the last caller of a square UFO. You know what is going on around the world is something, and it's happening quick, and it's happening fast. Be sure to check out Third Phase of Moon YouTube for the latest updates this week as they come in, the live UFO sightings. You know what, everybody? We're not alone. Keep your eyes on the skies. This is Blake Cousins. We'll see everybody again next week.